about this company up in Bellevue called Microsoft. They were talking about application software. There was this inkling of, they were going to develop a spreadsheet product and a word processing product.
I was very impressed by the idea of software as a business, software being separated from hardware.
I believed in software, and when I came to Microsoft, my first job was to be the product manager on a product called Multiplan.
Multiplan was distinguished by an extreme degree of portability. In the early days of personal computers, there was really quite a large number of different computers that came onto the market, using different processors, using different architectures. So our bet at that time was on diversity, on being able to run on as many different computers as possible. And probably Multiplan was one of the most ported applications of all time. At one point, we were running on 50 different computers.
Now, Multiplan didn't do as well as we wanted it to do. It did reasonably well in international markets, but not so well in the US market. It was because we got leapfrogged by a product called Lotus 1-2-3.
When I started in '84, the spreadsheet market was virtually 100% MS-DOS and Lotus 1-2-3.
They had completely dominant market share, not just for spreadsheets, but they were by far the most dominant app, I think, in the PC software industry.
After we saw how successful Lotus 1-2-3 was, we were kicking off the next generation of our spreadsheet, the project that would ultimately replace Multiplan. And the initial code name for that project was Odyssey. Ultimately, that's what became Microsoft Excel. Now, most people don't know that when Odyssey was kicked off in October of 1983, it was focused on being a better spreadsheet than Lotus 1-2-3 on the PC, not on graphic user interface. And so a brilliant programmer named Doug Clunder had figured out how to do the calculation algorithm in 2 dimensions simultaneously so that we could recalculate even faster than Lotus 1-2-3. By the spring of 1984, Bill and I were convinced that we really needed to bet on graphic user interface. And so we made a tough decision. We went to the team and said that we're going to shift from doing Odyssey on the PC and instead focus its initial release on the Apple Macintosh and then ultimately on Microsoft Windows.
Excel did tremendously. The group under the leadership of Jeff Harbers, they did a fantastic job and worked day and night, including the night before release.
What we focused on was, productivity, ease of use, being able to do things quickly. And the advantage of being in the Windows environment, having a GUI environment, we had drag and drop, things like copy paste worked a lot easier in the new environment than they did in the DOS environment.
That was really the important thing at that time, to move software from, a PhD thesis kind of user mode into something that an average person could use.
Plus, just look. The look and experience was just fantastic compared to DOS. Instead of just having character-based, everything's just text, you have graphics, things look better, they feel better. When you say something is bold, you can actually display it as bold as opposed to a different color. And, underlining, everything is more WYSIWYG. A fantastic advantage there, and then just the interface with the mouse and the first toolbars.
On the Mac side, we were not toiling in obscurity at all. We were clearly the number one, but in the complete PC market, we were single digits for a long, long time. When you think about the longevity of Excel is amazing. We had this incredible ethos about being really efficient in how we programmed Excel, which I think is an excellent long-term fundamental.
You would think that there wouldn't be any code in Excel from, 15, 20, 30 years ago, but a lot of it still lives. Every now and then you're working in some code and you want to find out when did this originally get changed and why, and you look back through the history, and sometimes you just keep having to look back and it'll go back to 1990 or 87 or something. That there's a lot of history in the code. It was a product that Microsoft built from the ground up, started off as an underdog and had unparalleled success and is now, a true mission critical part of most businesses across the world.
I never know how people are using Excel because it's used in so many different ways.
I think it's sort of a friendlier way to do some number crunching, if you will. Excel actually changed the way business works really by making it easy for people to use and to be able to make decisions and do calculations and put charts on their data.
We have financial companies that use it to crunch vast amounts of data to run simulations so they can help determine what's going to happen in the world. They don't just use Excel as the tool for writing formulas. They actually build solutions on top of Excel, things that have been running for 10, 15 years. We work with companies to make sure those things keep running with every new version of Excel. And these are critical applications for their business that they need to keep their business running to stay ahead of their competitors.
I mean, not a day goes by where people don't have to make some sort of a decision and categorize their information in some meaningful way. And Excel just does it in a way that's accessible to most people.
You can't imagine where people have been empowered to start their own business because they have that at their fingertips.
Excel has expanded onto the web with the Excel web application, and 2010 was a big release where we brought a lot of functionality onto the web, where now you can just do a lot of Excel in the browser. You don't need the client app. You can do editing, you can do collaboration, you can do a lot of what we call one version of the truth. With a server product, you publish it onto the server. That's where it lives. There's only one place where that document lives, as opposed to as an attachment in 500 emails.
I worked a lot on our calc code, our recalc engine, and our dependencies. Worked a lot on our conditional formatting code, which has been a feature that's been around for a while, but we really added a lot to a lot of different styles and really expanded that feature. We spent a lot of time trying to improve our performance, and I think we made great strides there.
Went to a bigger grid and our 64-bit Excel, and these are things we hadn't done in terms of expanding the grid to that dimensions, where people say, oh, Excel's an old code base, you can't do these big changes. And we say, you know what, we do them, and we do them all the time, and we're going to keep doing them. It's software. We can do whatever we want.
If we go back to the beginning of Excel 25 years ago to now, there's been incredible transformation in terms of how people communicate. There's a lot more collaboration going on in the world. Corporations and organizations have a lot of information or data that's in back-end systems, and we need to be able to empower people to look at that data, twist it around, analyze it, pivot it, and examine it in different ways so that they can uncover some insights. So Excel plays a tremendous role in the whole business intelligence world by virtue of the fact that it's the tool that people use. It's the one that they actually touch. So if we think about Excel in the world where people have cell phones and they have all different kinds of mobile devices and they work in browsers and they have their PCs, there's a version of Excel that pretty much runs on any device. If we look at what's out there today, we have the web application, which allows people to use Excel on any machine that doesn't have to have any software installed on it. And in that way, you can bring together a wide variety of groups who can work on a single spreadsheet at the same time, but the people that are working on it could be all over the world using whatever form factor is convenient for them.
People are going to want to be able to get at their data no matter where they are. They want to be able to get at anything, anytime.
And so we look at the cloud as a repository for these numbers, and then teams can work no matter where they are around the world, aiming at this one particular document that sits in the cloud. It's what makes it really accessible to people. So it doesn't matter whether you're sitting on the airplane with your Wi-Fi connection on your laptop, or at a coffee shop with an internet connection, or if you're on your phone. All these people, no matter where they are and what form factors they're using, they can access that same piece of data in the cloud. There's ways of presenting the data to people in ways that they haven't even been able to imagine yet.
Excel is one of the most successful products in the history of software.
Excel is, I think it's really boundless because we've always been able to morph it into being able to have different capabilities that maybe weren't traditionally thought of as part of a spreadsheet.
You know, there are these transitions in the industry, and you have to be able to ride those transitions in order to stay on top.
The thing that keeps me excited about Excel is it's still constantly changing. There's never a release where I feel like, oh, we're done, let's quit.
Sitting next to a person on the plane and started talking, and they literally grabbed me by the shirt. You work on Excel? I love Excel.
People love Excel.
Google Sheets allows you to collect, sort, analyze, and manipulate data in meaningful ways. With built-in formulas, formatting tools, and easy-to-create charts and graphs, Google Sheets is a powerful data analysis tool. Sheets allows multiple people to collaborate in real time. Changes and edits are instantaneous, and everything is saved automatically. To create a new Google Sheet, click the colorful plus square. In this example, we'll go through how simple it is to create a student grade sheet. First, in cells A1 through A4, enter the names of your students. Next, in cells B1 through B4, enter grades into the empty cells next to each student. Just like in Google Docs and Slides, you can change fonts, text size, and text color in Google Sheets. On the left side of the toolbar, you'll see options for editing numbers. You can format numbers as currency, percentages, decimals, and more. On the right side of the toolbar, you'll find the Function button, which gives you quick access to special formulas for your sheet. To organize this data, hover your mouse over the head of column A, and a drop-down arrow will appear. Click the arrow and find the command for Sort Sheet A through Z or Z through A. This will only affect the data you've selected. The table now shows grades for each student, sorted alphabetically. To get a grade average for a group of students, highlight cells B1 through B4 and click the sigma icon on the far right of the toolbar. Choose Average and hit Enter. The grade average will appear below the last cell you've highlighted. Sheets can easily be shared with collaborators just like Docs and Slides. Click the Share button in the upper right corner, add the email address of a collaborator, and choose a permission level. You can also share your sheet by creating a public link. Click the Share button and find the option to get a shareable link, choose anyone with the link, and set the permission level to Can View. This link can be pasted as a resource on a Google site, as material in Google Classroom, or linked to in a Google Doc or Slides presentation. And that's a quick look at Google Sheets.